What is biblical tithing?
Biblical tithing. That is a very good question, and I will give you as concise an answer as I can. In the Old Testament, tithe is a tenth. It's an old word that means 1/10. In the Old Testament, you had a theocracy, not a democracy, but a theocracy. That is to say, you had the nation of Israel ruled by God, who mediated his rule through the priesthood, 24 courses of priests. They were basically the officers of the theocracy. They mediated the rule of God through the revealed law of Moses to the people. And the people needed to supply funding for those officers, namely the priests and the Levites who served along with them. So there was a tithe tax that was essentially the basic tax to fund the national government. It was 1/10 of whatever it is that you earned. It could be commodities, not particularly money, grain, oil, fruit, whatever. Then you had a second tithe every year, which was designed to fund the national celebrations, the feasts, the festivals, to provide all of that the nation Israel engaged in, and there were a whole series of feasts, as you know, and funding temple events when the whole of the people came together, like the Passover and all those things. Then you had a third tenth every third year, which was the poor tax that was distributed to the people who were poor. So if you split that into every year, it's about 3 1/3% every year. So essentially, every Jew paid 23 1/3% with the addition of a fixed amount of temple tax, with the addition of they couldn't harvest the corners of their fields. That had to be left for profit sharing to let the poor take that. If you dropped a bale off your wagon when you were harvesting, you couldn't pick it up. That again would supply for needy people who would hang around the fields to pick up and glean whatever they could get. So you might say that it could be somewhere between 24 or 25% of the income of an Israelite living in the kingdom that was funding the national government. That really was taxation. That never was free will giving. That never was what we would call free will. In Malachi 3, when God says, "Why will you rob me of tithes?" that's what he's talking about. That's what he's talking about.